Hey, fellow Muppet fans, and welcome to Moving Right Along, a Muppet movie podcast brought to you by toughpigs.com. This is the podcast where we watch the Muppet Christmas Carol 2 minutes at a time and talk about it a lot. I'm your host, Ryan Rowe.
I'm your other host, Anthony Strand.
And we're very happy to have our guest from last week back with us this week. Guest, who are you?
It's still me, Julia Gaskill.
Still you,
Yes.
And we're still very happy. Thanks for joining us again.
Happy to be here.
And today we are talking about minutes 5 and 6 of the Muppet Christmas Carol, in which Gonzo insists he's Charles Dickens and starts to tell us the story, beginning with the introduction of Scrooge. So we pick up from last week with Gonzo telling us the rest of his name, Earl Dickens. So if you add that to the cha that he began last time, his name is Charles Dickens. I assume that we're going to keep calling him Gonzo for the duration of this podcast, but it would be kind of funny if we just went along with his, his deal here and just only referred to him as Charles Dickens.
I wondered if y'all were just going to call him, refer to Charles Dickens throughout this whole season.
Charles,
yeah.
I mean, I guess we could.
We could. It might be fun. I don't know.
Rizzo does call him Gonzo several times throughout the movie, right?
Yeah, it does happen.
There's one part where he's like, Gonzo, speak to me, after Gonzo's they've fallen off of the building later.
Right.
So
right.
there is
And
and obviously in this clip, Rizzo disputes him and he's like, wait, you're not Charles Dickens. So Rizzo does call Gonzo out several times of being like, we didn't discuss this, what are you doing? But,
exactly.
Gonzo really sticks to it throughout the entire film.
Yeah, so right here, like you say, Rizzo challenges Gonzo on this. He says, a blue furry Charles Dickens who hangs out with a rat.
Well, I really like that first he introduces himself, as though he didn't know. They had rehearsed. Gonzo's going to say, I'm Gonzo. Rizzo's going to say, I'm Rizzo. And then he realizes Gonzo did not say that, and then reacts after he says his name.
Yeah, that's another thing that sort of raises the question of what level of reality are we on? And what level of reality are the characters on? Right,
yeah.
Yeah, blue furry Charles Dickens. Gonzo's blue, right? I remember when we're doing a sequel, the musical number in Muppets Most Wanted happened. And in that, Gonzo refers to himself as a long-nosed purple thing. And at the time, we were like, wait a minute, why is he saying that he's purple? Gonzo is blue. So it's nice to hear Gonzo answer to being called blue in this case.
Yeah,
because he's definitely blue.
Yeah,
right. It's weird, and they actually say it twice in Muppets Most Wanted. In the extended version, the dad from Modern Family, what's his name?
Ty Burrell.
Ty Burrell. He says, "Bring in the purple guy with the schnoz." During the interrogation song.
In the interrogation song. Yeah, yeah, weird. And also, I wonder why none of the Muppet old timers
were
on the set were like,
hey, wait a minute.
He's blue, so can we just...
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, but here, there's no question. He's a furry blue Charles Dickens who hangs out with rats. Gonzo answers absolutely, and he spreads his arms out, which is one of these things. I'm not the kind of fan, I've said this before, who can immediately identify a specific puppeteer's performance just by the way the puppet moves. But this thing where he holds out both his arms like that wide is something that I've learned to associate with Dave Goelz.
Right. Years ago, I thought about making a gift set, and I should still do it, of Gonzo, Rugby Tiger, Sir Didymus, and Traveling Matt all doing that, because they definitely have all
those are the examples that I wrote down here.
You're right, because Ryan, you said that that's the thing Dave Goelz does, and I was like, okay, yeah, and then you just listed off all the characters, and I was like, oh yeah, he does do it for all of those characters pretty frequently.
Yeah,
it's fun to be able to spot something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, I also love Gonzo's delight as he says, absolutely.
Yeah, he's very proud of himself.
He's so excited to be a blue furry Charles Dickens who hangs out with the rat.
Right. Vizzo says, Charles Dickens was a 19th century novelist, a genius, and Gonzo says something like, oh, thank you, you're too kind.
You're too kind, yeah.
So, which is interesting. Charles Dickens was a 19th century novelist. So again, I guess this is an indication that as far as Rizzo is concerned, they're in the 20th century. Gonzo couldn't possibly be a novelist from the 19th century.
Yeah, Rizzo does have an air of we know who Charles Dickens is. He was a genius. He wrote all of this stuff. But also he's not questioning that he's in this setting selling apples for tuppence.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess we shouldn't think about it too hard.
We're probably not supposed to, but that's what this podcast is for, right?
That is what this
Right. Oh,
podcast is
for sure.
for. That's what we do. Yeah. Gonzo says he knows the story of the Christmas Carol like the back of his hand. Rizzo tells him to prove it, and Gonzo describes the back of his hand. He has a scar on his wrist from where he fell off his bicycle. Now, of all the dangerous physical stunts that we have seen Gonzo do, the thing that gave him a scar on his wrist was falling off a bicycle.
Maybe it was a penny farthing.
And,
It could be.
Maybe he was riding that bicycle on like a tightrope above some flames or something.
That's true.
There's a chance that it was like so much more, but for him, he's just simplifying it because it's just any old thing. He was riding a bike.
That's just right.
Yeah,
That's just what he does.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I like to think of it that way then.
He also says that he has a mole on his thumb, which means that he has thumbs. And now Gonzo has 3 fingers on his hands, one that is pointing straight up and one going out to either side. So which of the 2 on the sides is his thumb? We cannot tell. They're identical. He has 2 thumbs on each hand.
Are they all the same length? Oh, you're saying that the 2 on the end are the same length?
Yeah, he has like the 1 in the center and then like 2 on the ends. So he either has no thumbs or he has 4 thumbs. And I
was going to say maybe they're both thumbs.
Yeah. My whole life, this has made me wonder which one is Gonzo's thumb. I finally get to talk about it in public.
Maybe it's covered by his fur, but we see his hands and we don't see any moles on his hands.
I assumed it's under his fur, so he knows it's there even if we can't see it.
Right. Yeah, that's how well he knows this story.
Yes, exactly. But no, Rizzo meant that he wants him to prove that he knows the story. So Gonzo starts telling the story, beginning with, the Marleys were dead to begin with, because that's how the story starts. But of course, that's not how the story of A Christmas Carol starts, because in the original book, there's only one Marley who is dead to begin with.
Right.
A singular Marley. But he goes on to explain that the Marleys had been partners with a shrewd moneylender named Ebenezer Scrooge. He's coming around that corner. Where? There. When? Now.
That is so
and there
good.
He comes. Yes.
That pause before now.
Now.
Perfect. It's so good.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah. And this is a really great entrance of Scrooge, who we will not see for this entire song until the very end of the song. He's just this sort of sinister, mysterious figure that we're going to hear the characters sing about, but we won't be able to put a face to the name and the reputation yet. And at first, the camera, when it cuts to that alleyway as he comes around the corner, is at just this extreme angle. So it's like something's getting weird, something's getting tense and kind of uneasy. I don't know quite enough about film, but this might be considered a Dutch angle. Any film experts can, and here's our first song. It is Scrooge. And it's a really good song.
It's a really good song.
It is. Before we get into the song, I do want to say that when we first see Scrooge, there's like a singular bass drum, on the soundtrack. It reminds me so much of the first time we see Earl in the Dinosaurs opening theme.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Earl is like walking into the brush and it's like boom, boom, It like
it just feels, ominous percussive sounds. Yeah.
Right. And then like a bouncy song starts in both instances. So Dinosaurs was on at this time and Brian Henson was the executive producer. So
maybe they
I don't know.
One influenced the other.
Yeah, that's what I mean, it's possible. I don't know.
And Earl Sinclair is pretty cranky at the beginning of the series of Dinosaurs.
That's true.
True. He's sort of the dinosaur version of Scrooge, if you think about it.
I'm thinking about it.
They never did a Christmas Carol parody on dinosaurs. They just did Refrigerator Day.
Right. Yeah. Which has a Tiny Tim thing joke.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. There you go. When we interviewed Paul Williams for Tough Pigs a while back, he said that this was the first song that he wrote for the movie. He talked about having read the book to prepare, and then he read the script of the movie, which I assume just had sort of notes on where the songs would go. So all he had to do was actually sit down and get started with the songs. He talked about how he didn't want to sit there and try to force the creativity to come out of him. So he put everything aside and started reading a murder mystery novel. And then he said about 3 pages in, he started to hear the song in his head with some of the, like, with even some of the lines and the rhymes. Of
Oh,
the song.
wow.
He's like, okay, time to get started on the song. So
Yeah.
that's it's always fascinating to hear about people's different creative processes like that. So the song is really good. I like the music. I like the lyrics. I also really like the way they shoot this, where Scrooge is walking across the town to his office, and the song is just sort of picked up along the way by different characters that take us on the entire journey from this apple stand to Scrooge's office.
It really reminds me of the opening number. It's obviously slightly very different, but like the opening number of Beauty and the Beast, where Belle is singing that song, but at the same time it's the entire town like singing about her as she's like going to the bookstore, then going to her dad's. Everyone has like comments to make about her, and then everyone has comments to make about Scrooge. But yeah, we keep that like shadowy air of mystery, and we don't really get a good look at Michael Caine's face until that very last beat of the song. But
right.
Everyone's just got something to say about Scrooge.
Yeah, we learn a lot about him.
But also even to the point that song is called simply Belle, and this song is called simply Scrooge.
That is true, yeah.
So another parallel.
Yeah.
So, and I never thought about it, but you're totally right.
Yeah, it makes sense that this would be the first one Paul Williams would write, right? Because like the other ones kind of, I feel like, get more into like the emotion and the feelings of what's going on, whereas this is just like cold cut, like this is what we know about Scrooge in the movie and also in the book. Like he is a really shrewd, money greedy like person who's cold and doesn't want to like associate with anybody. He just wants to go to work and make money. And so that's like a really good jumping off point for somebody who's got to write the songs for this movie. It's like, okay, before I get into like the emotions of all the other songs, let's just write about this guy who we know a lot about from the novel to begin with, and then also the script as well.
Yeah. And I'm thinking there have been a few other musical adaptations of A Christmas Carol. I'm not familiar enough with them. Maybe Anthony, you are.
Yeah.
Are there any others that do this kind of thing where there's a song to introduce Scrooge and how cruel and scary he is?
What's Kelsey Grammer that was like made for TV?
Yeah, that's later. I don't know that one. The 1970 movie with Albert Finney does not have a song like this. It starts with Tiny Tim and his friends, like on a sled. They're like pushing Tiny Tim around on a sled.
Okay.
But and then Stingiest Man in Town, the which is a TV musical from the 50s, but also a Rankin Bass animated special from the 70s with Walter Matthau as Scrooge.
Okay.
And he sings in it, multiple songs. That one has like a Jiminy Cricket figure who like introduces us to Scrooge, and then Scrooge sings about how much he hates everything for the opening.
Okay. But then even then, it's Scrooge himself in that case rather than
it's like
us being told about Scrooge before we see him. Yeah,
it's him and his nephew Fred, I think, if I remember right. Like singing a point-counterpoint song.
So, this is a really interesting way to do it then.
Yeah.
And it also, we get to see a lot of Muppets, which is cool. Starting with the puppet who was previously George the janitor on the Muppet Show.
Yeah,
I don't know if this is exactly supposed to be George. It is a Frank Oz voice, but it doesn't sound like George did on the Muppet Show, but it's still nice to see him.
I was honestly wondering if Frank had forgotten what George sounded like, which would
not be surprised.
I think, like that's a character he hadn't played since season 1. And he's been like, Frank's already directing movies by this time and stuff. Like, I don't think he's sitting around thinking about George the janitor in his
No.
But I kind of think Jerry Nelson was sitting around thinking about Droop in his free time. Like I think Jerry Nelson kept a catalog of voices in his head in a way Frank did not.
That's nice to think. I like that.
Just based on how many recurring characters he had who sounded consistent.
Yeah. Then there's this quintet of Muppets who sings the lines about there goes Mr. Humbug, there goes Mr. Grimm. One of those is the puppet who was previously J.P. Gross on the Muppet Show. Also a member of Jerry and the Atrics.
It's very strange
Always
to
nice
see
to see
JP
those.
Gross in this, I think. Like even
You
a
think
little
so?
weirder than Sprocket for me, just because he's such a he's a villain in the Muppet Show. He only exists
Yeah,
to be a villain.
oh,
And
right. He's kind of a mean guy himself, and now here he is complaining about Scrooge being a
about
mean
Scrooge,
guy.
but also like if we take this as the Muppets putting on a production of A Christmas Carol, it's weird. And I know JP Gross, they used him on the Muppet Show in just group numbers or whatever all the time. I know
Yeah.
that. But it's always weird because I just want him to be Scooter's rich uncle who owns the theater.
Right. Well, then on Muppets Tonight, he's just kind of sitting in the control room occasionally with no real, like, they don't bother to explain who he is or why he's there.
Right.
So, yeah, oh, in the Unwrapping a New Holiday Classic featurette on the DVDs, there's a brief behind-the-scenes clip of this shot with these 5 Muppets singing, where you can see the puppeteers getting the choreography wrong. They have to watch Scrooge pass by, then whip their heads back toward the camera and sing a few words of the verse, and then start swaying back and forth, and then whip back to point at Scrooge at the end of it. So this is all, like, I don't know how these guys do any of this. It just requires so much coordination, and you're looking at a monitor, and you're squished up against each other. So it's always just fun to see them at work like that. And yeah, I think that kind of brings us to the end of what we see in this part of the song. That's all I have. But any like particular lines of the song that you like, or moments, or Muppets that we see pop up here?
Not in particularly. I mean, I wrote some notes just about how like nice it is just to see like such a wide array of Muppets, and how the costume department probably had fun making a lot of little top hats for all of them. A lot of top hats. Yeah.
We always love to see Muppets in winter wear, and this movie is just like jam-packed full of it.
Love Muppets in
It's
winter
full of
wear.
them.
Yeah.
And actually, Julia, you won't be here with us for the rest of the song. So anything else that's coming up that we won't get to?
Oh, in the song, I mean, it's just such a solid number. I also wrote in my notes just about like what a good like opening intro song it is. I also feel like for whatever reason, for anybody who likes the Muppets but they're not like a huge Muppet fan, this is like the song that people know from this movie. It's like this and Feels Like Christmas, like between the two. I feel like this one just like it really just gets in your head, and it's really memorable. Yeah.
And just coming so early on, this one kind of sets.
Yeah, I did write in my notes. For some reason, when y'all told me I was going to be like on the first like the 2 second, like the 2 to 3 and what minutes am I on? I'm on 3 to 4 and 5 to 6. I really didn't think we were going to get to the song, and it really just like gets into it so quickly. But also, I guess that's probably the case with all the other Muppet movies as well. The second they get done through the credits, they're like, and now we're just going to go into our opening number, because that's what a lot of people are here to see.
It's got a great opening number, and it goes like this, right?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, no, I guess that's right. And I guess in Muppets Take Manhattan, the opening number starts like as the credits are rolling, the opening credits. So
yeah, and
they do like to get into it.
Yeah, Great Muppet Caper. The second the credits roll, their hot air balloon crashes and they start singing.
Singing. Muppet movie. I mean, once we get into the actual movie.
Yeah,
this is a minute, but yeah,
it does because of the intro. But then after the credits, they get into Rainbow Connection. That old number.
And of course, Treasure Island starts with its best song, in my opinion, Shiver My Timbers.
Yeah.
And then Muppets from Space, a movie that is not a musical, starts with Brick House. Like
it does.
Yes, lulling you into a false sense of this is going to be a much more fun movie than it actually is. But we'll get to that.
We'll see. We'll see if I agree. But no, I love this song too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited to talk about it next time. I guess I don't need to cram.
Yes, we will continue to talk about the rest of it with a different guest next week. Yeah, so this one I guess is a little bit on the short side, but any other thoughts about these 2 minutes?
Well, can I say some stuff that I learned about the book?
Oh yes, please.
How it compares. So obviously as you mentioned already, Ryan, both of Gonzo's narration lines are basically right out of the book. The actual line, so you will find it is going to be a theme that Charles Dickens is very wordy. And this is a short book with not a lot of story. It's only just like 100 pages long. And it still is, he never uses 5 words when 15 will do. But so it's Marley was dead to begin with. There is no doubt whatever about that. The register of his burial was signed by the clergyman, the clerk, the undertaker, and the chief mourner. Scrooge signed it, and Scrooge's name was good upon change for anything he chose to put his hand to. Old Marley was as dead as a doornail. That's that line. And we didn't actually get to doornail here, did we? Right?
No, I didn't mention that, but yeah, so Jerry Jewell here condenses that to the Marleys were dead to begin with, as dead as a doornail.
Dead as a doornail. Right. Yeah, so that's a lot of what Jerry Jewell is going to do in the movie, like condense. Also, I learned that Marley, Jacob Marley, is named for Dr. Miles Marley, a person with the same first name as my son, an Irish doctor who Dickens knew. And the annotated Christmas Carol says, when the subject of Dickens' interest in unusual names came up at a party, Dr. Marley mentioned that he thought his own surname quite remarkable. Dickens reportedly replied, "Your name shall be a household one before the year is out."
Wow.
The name Marley was remarkable?
Yeah, which seems obviously just normal now. It just seems like a name.
Well, and obviously much more recently somebody thought it was remarkable enough to give to a dog in a movie.
That is true. That's probably actually what I think of more now if I hear the name Marley. I'm like, oh,
sure.
Dr. Miles movie. Marley and Me.
Dr. Miles Marley and Me.
Yeah, where's that?
And then the last, or actually two more things. So the phrase "as dead as a doornail" is often credited, the book says, often credited to William Langland in his book, The Vision of Piers Plowman, 1362. It probably predates that 1362 book, but that's like the earliest recorded reference of "as dead as a doornail."
Huh.
Which is wild to me that such a thing even can be tracked.
Oh yeah, I love that. But yeah, it is kind of a weird thing to say, even because like are doornails dead? I guess that a doornail shows no signs of life. So
I don't know if you think you're quoting this book or not, but right after "as dead as a doornail," let me find it. Right after "as dead as a doornail," Dickens says, "Old Marley was as dead as a doornail. Mind, I don't mean to say that I know of my own knowledge what there is particularly dead about a doornail. I might have been inclined myself to regard a coffin nail as the deadest piece of ironmongery in the trade, but the wisdom of our ancestors is in the simile, and my unhallowed hands shall not disturb it, or the country's done for. You will therefore permit me to repeat emphatically that Marley was as dead as a doornail."
Interesting.
So Dickens makes the same observation you did, right? Like,
okay, yeah. That reviewer that you quoted last week was absolutely right. This book is ludicrous.
It is. Oh yeah, it's the greatest. Like it's truly one of my favorite books in the world. Like you can tell, I'm truly just as excited to talk about A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens as I am to talk about The Muppet Christmas Carol.
Yeah, it's great.
But the last thing is, I think, a real testament to Jerry Jewell. Scrooge, a shrewd moneylender named Ebenezer Scrooge, that's not in the book. I even double checked. I Google searched Scrooge quote shrewd moneylender, and only Muppet Christmas Carol related results come up.
Huh.
So it's not even from an earlier adaptation, as far as I can tell. And then obviously you will meet him as he comes around that corner is not in the book, because you can't look at that corner while reading the book.
Right.
That'd be weird.
It would be funny if Dickens was like, "You will meet him when you turn the page."
Right? Ding.
Yeah.
when you hear this sound.
Yeah.
So that's that's there should be a name for this segment. I've just been calling it like book corner in my notes, but I don't know.
So yeah, do you want to come up with a name for it right now?
Yeah, we'll call it the Old Curiosity Shop.
Okay.
That sounds like
with two P's and an E, right?
You just had it so prepared. Yeah.
Well, that's the name of a Charles Dickens book.
Okay. I haven't heard of that one. Okay, cool.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Well, if that's it, then we can wrap up for this week. Everyone, please make sure you check out toughpigs.com on the internet, Facebook, Twitter, everywhere. Our logo is by Morgan Davy. We have a Patreon. We would love it a lot if you would support us at patreon.com/toughpigs. We also have a TeePublic store. You can buy t-shirts and stickers and tote bags, I think, including the ones that say the great Gonzo as Charles Dickens and Rizzo the Rat as himself. And by the way, Anthony, I don't know if I told you, You
did.
specifically, personally requested that we put both of those Rizzo and Gonzo credits on the front and back of one T-shirt, and we have done that now. So you can go get that shirt on our TeePublic store.
And I already ordered it as soon as you sent me the link.
Oh, good.
That's true.
Gonzo the Great as Charles Dickens on the front and Rizzo the Rat as himself on the back of the same T-shirt. So
That's amazing.
it's amazing what
Can't
they can
wait.
do with T-shirt technology these days. And yes, please drop by our Facebook page or Twitter. You can email us at movingrightalong@toughpigs.com. Tell us what you think of Charles Dickens' language or being dead as a doornail or whatever. And you can find me on Twitter at @MeRyanRowe. I'm on Letterboxd at MoviesAreNeat. Anthony is on Letterboxd at ZeppoMarxist. Julia, remind us where we can find you on the internet.
I am on Twitter and Instagram at GeekGirlGrownUp. I write for Tough Pigs, and I've got some poetry in the world. That's about it.
Everybody should go seek that out as soon as you're finished listening to this episode.
Yes.
And if you don't mind, listeners, please give us a positive review on Apple Podcasts or wherever, and tell your friends all about this show. Your friends, your family, who you watch this movie with every year. Tell them about this podcast. And join us again next week for another episode of Moving Right Along. Goodbye.
It paints you with indifference like a lady paints with rouge.